As the Guardians get ready to start their unofficial second half of the season, a guy they need to turn it around is one David Fry, who got off to a scorching hot start to the season, but over the last 30 days has found himself in a bit of a slump. Over the last 30 days in 64 at-bats, he's hitting just 203. He has not hit a home run. He has 3 RBIs. His OPS is about half of what it was about a month and a half ago at just 554. Do you think the RBI in the All-Star game that David Fry was able to get in front of his hometown crowd, not Cleveland, but he's from Arlington, Texas, is that enough to kind of build the momentum and confidence back up in David Fry to break him out of this slump? Or is this just the reality of who David Fry kind of was always meant to be?
Yeah. No, one at-bat's not going to do it. It typically doesn't, particularly when you have 4 days off after that at-bat or 3 days off after that at-bat.
That's actually, I think one at bat can. Like sometimes you just need to see. It can
if you get back in the batter's box an hour later and you do something else.
You just need to see it hit the green one time. Just hit the green one time.
Yeah, I disagree.
Start to get a little bit of momentum. But the fact that it's one hit and then it's 4 days off again,
it doesn't help.
Baseball is a daily game.
And that's why I don't think it's going to be enough. If it was a pinch hit walk-off home run,
yeah,
okay, then the inertia and the energy and the excitement of that might carry you over to Friday and into the second half. Again, living in my fears,
yeah.
I think the clock struck midnight for David Fry around June 1st, June 10th, somewhere in there. It's the last month that, to me, is what we all expected David Fry was going to be.
Right. Yeah.
A 200 hitter who you could plug into multiple positions and give you a little bit of versatility. But, and why this happens and how this happens, I don't know. You're too young. Kids at home, here's a little history lesson for you. Google Kevin Moss.
Oh, I remember Kevin Moss.
I didn't think you were old enough to remember Kevin Moss.
Lefty power hitting first baseman for the Yankees.
For a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, for
so
about half a season.
So Kevin Moss came up, and there is something to this. I've talked to guys that have played for the Yankees but spent most of their career elsewhere. And I asked them all this question because you always hear the power of the pinstripes.
Yeah.
I have had guys tell me that their entire career, they just dreamt of being traded to the Yankees to see what it felt like to be part of that mythical Babe Ruthian experience. And they all said the same thing. The first time I put on that uniform and saw myself on television or in a mirror, I felt like it was a cape. And they went out, and so many times they just killed it their first week or month or whatever.
Shane Spencer's.
Actually, the list of guys that have done that is long.
Yeah.
Now, it also, now I know you won't remember this, you can also have the reversed effect. For that, I go to Ed Whitson, an old pitcher who
80s,
signed a notoriously mammoth contract to come save the Yankees and return them to excellence. And when I say he melted, I mean he Ryan Leaf melted under the pressure.
Right, Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson's another guy.
Yeah.
You put them in pinstripe, but it does have a weird effect. And for me, watching David Fry, I'd see him hit a big clutch pinch hit home run, and I'd look at the clock and say, what is the proverbial time?
Right.
What time is it? Is it 11:59 yet?
Yeah.
And I, sadly, because I was rooting for this guy so strongly, and I'm not ready to throw the last shovel of dirt on him yet, and he may be a serviceable big leaguer for years because of his versatility. But he ain't what we saw the first 2 months of the season.
Man.
That's just not who he is. And we all knew it, but we were trying to ignore it.
Like my grandfather used to say, sometimes you just need a work car. Like, what's a work car? Something to get you back and forth to work.
Is David Fry the work car?
He's just a work car. And when work cars die, and you get them for a couple $100, you get 6 to 8 months out of them. You don't cry when the work car, dies. You say, I got my money's worth.
You go get another one.
David Fry was a guy that was a work car.
So you are burying him.
I'm not burying him. I think he still could get you to work, but you got to put oil in it. You got a couple leaks here and there right now at this point, and you might be wanting to plan a little bit to see, winter's coming. I might want to be looking around for another car.
Sure.
For me, the book is on him. You know this, Jay, man. Sometimes it ain't about, whether or not how he's hitting. It's the fact that the pitching is now like, okay, we'll pay attention.
They've
to
adjusted
you
to what he does.
We'll pay attention. Yeah, we wasn't thinking about you, but now that you want to hit the ball, you want to hit 300 and have your OPS be that high. Well, okay. Well, we know you don't like sliders away. Well, you don't. You reach on pitches outside of the zone on off-speed breaking pitches, right? They know everything. They know where you like it, where you don't like it, the zones. And now you start to see guys that aren't as talented as the Jose Ramirez's or the Quans that can adjust in the middle of the season. You start to see their numbers go down a little bit.
10 years from now, we're going to look back and go, remember when David Fry was an all-star? How
Remember
wild?
Joe Charbonneau for a minute?
How wild was that?
Yeah.
Listen, obviously, the fear is that he's come crashing back to earth. He was so good that you can't walk from him yet. I think you have to keep. I mean, I remember I was one of the last to saying, like, to relent and say, okay, fine. You got to find a spot to play this guy every day. You've won me over.
This idiot sitting here said trade Bo Naylor and make him your everyday catcher.
Well, I wasn't willing to go that far.
Which is why I say I'd make the worst general manager ever. I am way too emotional.
I wasn't willing to go that far, but you had to create a spot for him to play every day. He was too hot. You got to ride it while it's there. And I think you guys are right. There's more tape on him now. Pitchers know how to attack him now. There's a scouting report on him now.
Yeah.
He's a name that you go over now in the pitchers meetings.
That's a big one.
Before the series.
When your name's at the top of the pitchers meeting.
Now is a
damn book.
Yeah. Now you'll find out if he can. It's all cliche, but it's true. Now can he adjust back? Now can he learn? And I don't know what exactly it is that they figured out, but whether it's slider away on 0-2 counts that he'll chase or whatever it is, can he make that adjustment back to lay off those pitches or learn how to foul them off or do something with them? And that will determine the career that David Fry has. Because a bunch of guys come out of nowhere and have great careers that you never heard of. That's not that uncommon and unusual. Mm-hmm. That happens. But now is the point that determines if David Fry becomes that guy, becomes one of those guys that never had much of a minor league hype career, prospect guy who goes on to have a very successful career, or if he's a one-hit wonder that dies off. This will determine it the next few months.
I should probably give context to Kevin Moss. I said I'll give you a little history lesson. He famously hit 10 home runs in his first 72 at-bats.
I remember.
He was a 22nd round draft pick. It was one of those guys, but in Columbus, he was tearing the cover off the ball. They said, I think Don Mattingly got hurt. And they said, well, we needed a first baseman. And for a minute, we thought we had Wally Pipp Part 2. Yeah. Because Wally Pipp was famously replaced by Lou Gehrig in 2,130 games later. Gehrig finally got out of the lineup. But Kevin Mott, in New York City especially, they will start fitting you for your Hall of Fame bust after 3 weeks of great baseball. The writers in New York are very, very emotional, as I am. And they were saying of Kevin Moss, oh my God, he is... Don Mattingly better watch out. He just lost his job. Yeah. I don't know how many career home runs Kevin Moss finished with, but it wasn't a lot. And he never lived up to that. He came crashing back down to earth. Here's what might be the cherry on the cake for David Fry. And I said cherry on the cake. I don't know if that's even right.
I'll eat cherries on the
cakes. Dessert.
I'll eat anything on a cake. Look at me.
If it is over, what a final last page. What a great, and I'm not saying that his career is over. I'm saying this magical David Fry is a superstar is probably over. What a great way to end it. He got a base hit in his first at-bat as an all-star that tied the game at 3.
Yeah.
So he'll always have that. He'll always have his first 2 months of the season, which really was a magic carpet ride. My hope for Fry is that he can just be a sustainable, versatile, not everyday player, but a guy that when you need an at-bat, you can plug him in and you can get something from him.
I'll give you another one, Kevin Moss style. Bob Hamlin, 1994, Seattle? Kansas City. Wore glasses.
I think I remember him.
He was a big
heavy
hulking,
dude. Yeah.
I think left-handed hitting first baseman for the Royals. Had one monster year. Won Rookie of the Year. Never heard from him again.
Yeah, kind of Joe
Rookie of the Year-esque. Yeah, Charbonneau-esque. I just remember Hamlin wore
injury.
Hamlin looked like a math teacher. He just had regular glasses, not even rec specs.
Daryl Porter type glasses.
Yeah.